Alarm NBA DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We are recording here Thanksgiving Eve. Getting you guys ready for the Friday 7-game main slate. James, hopefully you had a good turkey day. But now we got to get to some business, man. We got a lot to talk about here. 7 games, a lot of injury news, per usual in the NBA that we're going to be paying attention to.
A lot of injury news. Some games not on this slate, thankfully, that could have made it way worse than what it is now. But yeah, I mean, it should be a fun game or a fun slate. It is Emirates NBA Cup, fresh off Thanksgiving Day, right back into Cup action. A lot of fates will be decided on teams advancing versus not advancing. A lot of groups will be wrapped up and whatnot. So definitely looking forward to this Friday 7-gamer. Not like your, I would say, traditional like star power. SGA, AD, and Tatum are the only players over $10,000. But
Yeah.
fun slate overall with the Cup action in play.
Yep. Let's just jump into it. Point guard position. SGA is 10-7 on the road against the Lakers. We have a questionable Cade Cunningham. He was seen getting some shots up the other day at practice. Maybe he comes through here in this matchup against Indiana. $9,800 for him. You got Anthony Edwards, 93. De'Aaron Fox, 92. You have James Harden, who broke the slate the other day against the Wizards. He's $9,200.
Yeah, I mean, SGA looks great. Obviously, had a little bit of a boost in that Golden State game with Jalen Williams leaving and not returning. Jalen Williams off the injury report, ready to go. I mean, you can always get to SGA. We saw the last 2 games now, 59 fantasy points in each. The scoring is off the charts again, 32 or more in 4 of his last 5, 54 fantasy points in 4 of his last 5. So definitely can get to SGA. If Cade plays, it's a really good spot against Indiana, good pace environment. Cade's obviously been nails. I expect there wouldn't be much of a limitation. He's only missed 2 games. So if he's good to go, I would expect full run for Cade. Definitely can go there. We kind of thought this would be the case with De'Aaron Fox, where there's no DeMar DeRozan. Well, he looks great. And we'll talk about another guard on this team that also went nuclear. And we'll also talk about a center that also, that is going to be the exact formula without DeMar DeRozan again here, right? No DeRozan, all the Fox, all the Monk, all the Sabonis. De'Aaron Fox looked great, just a few rebounds and assists shy of a triple-double in this one. So love him at 9,200. Minnesota's not very good defensively. Anthony Edwards told us that specifically after that
I'm very
loss the other day.
To see if there's any fallout to him basically calling his team childish and everybody out there for their own agenda. What comes of that now in this spot against the Clippers?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to get, and we've talked about this, right? I've said it a lot. If Harden makes shots, he could break a slate because the peripheral stats have been amazing. And did he make shots? Like, he made a lot of shots.
Sure did.
Didn't even have to play a full game in this one. So, my opinion doesn't really change there. If he makes shots, he can break a slate. 9,200. I'm definitely interested in. I think I lean Fox in this spot. I mean, the minutes for De'Aaron Fox are absurd. 38, 40, 38, 43, 39. Like, they don't, good teams, bad teams, like every game is competitive for Sacramento. It seems like, and with it, a cup game being on top of that, I could see De'Aaron Fox playing another 40. So I lean Fox over Harden. Honestly, I might lean De'Aaron Fox over everyone in the 9K tier. I might just go out on record saying that's my favorite 9K plus play, but
sure.
I do like the tier quite a bit.
Tier below is also not too bad either. Scotty Barnes at $8,500. Tyrese Halliburton coming off another big game, $8,500 as well. Tyler Hero is $7,800 matchup against Toronto. Talking about Scotty Barnes and Tyrese Halliburton, though. I mean, the Halliburton thing we've kind of preached for a little bit now that he was going to be too cheap at the $8,100 price tag. He goes for 68. They bump him up to 86. He goes for 58. Another big double-double. Another night of him hitting 50% of his 3-pointers. They lower him $100. Now he has a matchup against the Detroit here. Are we just now on a mission of just playing Halliburton until he's back to 9.5 or something like that?
Let me check my notes, John. Tyrese Halliburton at home. That's what my note says.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still really good at home.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's just what it is. Like all the big games this year have come in his arena. So outside of like one game basically in Dallas. So yeah, I mean, I like Halliburton quite a bit. 85, good spot. This Scotty Barnes play, I don't regret for 1 second. He took 23 shots. He was 3 assists shy of a triple double. 32 minutes. He didn't play the final 8 minutes of the game. He had a 36% usage rate in that game. It was 32 the last game, 36 this game. Like, if this is just simply who we're going to get, I mean, he's in the player pool. He just didn't make shots. And he still went for 45 fantasy points. Yeah. Right? So I have a lot of interest in both Barnes, a lot of interest in both Halliburton. And if history is going to repeat itself again, no one's going to play Scotty Barnes. If no one played him in that New Orleans spot where his team looked really good, and I mean, no one's going to play him in Miami. So you could once again likely see a low on Scotty Barnes.
Going down into the 6K range, Derek White and Boston have Chicago. We'll see, always live. They do have Kristaps Porzingis back, so that certainly throws another wrench into things. And even with Zinger back against the Clippers, Derek White went out there, had 38 fantasy points, $6,800 there. Jalen Suggs, who I was high on in that matchup against Chicago, he did not let me down there. 5% roster, goes for 46 fantasy points, 31 actual. Now gets Brooklyn. Brooklyn going to be without Dennis Schroeder, going to be without Cam Johnson. They could be without quite a few players in this game. You mentioned Brooklyn just kind of hangs around and finds themselves being competitive. I still think Jalen Suggs is a good play here at 6,500.
Just a note there, Cam Thomas, not Cam Johnson.
Cam Thomas, yeah. Cam Johnson questionable for that game, right?
Questionable, yep. So, yeah, I mean, look, Jalen Suggs has a very high ceiling and could have been higher. No steals, no blocks. It's a little bit of an anomaly, right? He's so good in both those. 2.4 blocks and steals combined this year. Mm-hmm. So, when he shoots the ball the way he shot the ball, then he has a very high ceiling. And we've seen that in back-to-back games that he's completed.
Yeah.
Multiple made threes, a lot of peripheral stats, big minutes. So
they gave you the 4 stocks in that game too, right? So
gave you the 4 stocks. I guess the only thing, and I guess this speaks to, again, Brooklyn being just like what they are this year and how scrappy they are. Only 8.5 point spread. And one, that might be because Orlando isn't like this great offensive team. I'm not saying they're bad. They scored 133 points last game. But going from the Bulls to the Nets that is a stark difference. And like by stark, I mean, it is top of the list to the bottom. Bulls are now 1 in pace and Brooklyn's 30th.
Yeah, this game only has a 209 total. So it's not like it's one of the best game environments, but we've seen players have big outputs in lower total games.
Sure.
I just think him and Wagner are just the 1-2 combo really on that team right now. So
yep,
I
agree.
Anybody else in this range? We hit the Portland guys again. Then Malik Monk at 54. You mentioned another guard. 27-8-9, 35 minutes. Wasted no time, no DeRozan.
I'm mad about this one because I really wanted to go here, and I was here at this price. And then Denny was like confirmed the starter, and I switched my lineup around, and then I didn't end up with Malik Monk, and he broke the slate at low ownership. It's a great spot. He's going to play big minutes off the bench. He's going to play over Kevin Huerter. He's a really good fantasy point per minute guy. He's a really high usage rate player. He's an elite play. The Portland guys are definitely like high ceiling type plays. Jeremy Grant listed doubtful. So, Shaedon Sharpe in a game that Scoot Henderson returned in 37 minutes, 19 shots. Wasn't great, but the minutes and the shots were great. Anthony Simons, 37 minutes, 21 shots, was great, 49 fantasy points. I think that's just simply too cheap for Simons. You're going to see ownership on Anthony Simons at 6,100, just given what he's done and given like the price and the matchup is really good. And 2 of the last 3, he started to look really a lot better in. I do just want to mention, and things really need to break perfectly for him. And I'll put on my clown mask again for this, but Josh Giddey, 6,500. Kobe White, listed questionable. Lonzo Ball listed questionable. I think both of those things need to be outs for us to get to Josh Giddey, where it's like, all right, now 2 guards, like 2 of their 4 top guards are off the floor. This should lead to more minutes.
Sure.
And I understand it's Boston. I also understand that this is a very important cup game in general, where both teams are 2-1 in the cup. So if everything breaks right for Giddey, where Kobe White is out and Lonzo Ball is out, then I do think Josh Giddey in tournaments makes sense.
Yep. Boston is a 10.5 point road favorite in that one, but does have a 241.5 game total there. So expecting plenty of points. I thought you were about to go Ben Simmons on us here. 27 minutes in back-to-back games. They're down numerous players here. Could be another spot where we get a ceiling type of minutes. We thought for a little while maybe he was going to be capped. 2 games at 26, 2 games at 27. Do we start the 2 games at 28 minutes? Like, what do we think we get out of Ben Simmons here? Because $5,300, that's a pretty fair price for what a guy could be if he starts playing have enough playing time here.
I just don't know what to make of Brooklyn as a whole, right? Because Thomas Schroeder, Clowney are out. Johnson, Claxton, Finney-Smith, Wilson are questionable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many iterations of ins and outs there that could alter the starting lineup. Like if Johnson, Claxton, Finney-Smith, Wilson sit,
Mm-hmm.
they do not have a chance to score in this game. They will not score. They will not score.
They start Shake Milton and they let Shake Milton take 20 shots.
Yeah, and Tyrese Martin at 3K, who's probably the highest rostered player of the slate because they didn't adjust his price.
Nope.
And he did that, right?
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Nobody has ever heard of Tyrese Martin until that game. So
I am not saying you're wrong. I am just a little bit unsure on what to say about Brooklyn because the way that they've handled their lineups and the way that guys have been ruled in and out so frequently has been crazy. And the fact that they're winning these games is even crazier. So, yes, I think Simmons is in our player pool. To what extent? TBD when the playbook comes out on fantasyalarm.com later on Friday.
All right. Under 5K guys, Pritchard's down to $4,800 now. He still played 26 minutes against the Clippers, had 35 fantasy points. Is this now back to territory? Would we play Peyton Pritchard here?
Yeah, tournaments. I think it's perfectly fine. I put him and Scoot kind of in that same bucket. Scoot came back and played 35 minutes, 1 assist shy of a double-double. So like Portland's another team that's really shorthanded.
The assists for Scoot are really nice. 9
the assists are. Yeah, if he can make shots, another guy, if he makes shots, and there's obviously a really high ceiling, and he has a high usage rate to just be a little more consistent making shots. That's all we need.
Do we try Kevin Porter Jr. again? Minutes were there. Just went 1 for 9.
Do we have the Norm?
Questionable, I think, right?
Questionable, yeah. If Norm is out, then you can do it. If Norm's in, I think I'm a little indifferent about it. Mike Conley, I did not think we'd see the minutes we saw out of Conley again, but hey, 32 minutes, right? I mean, only thing I was always poo-pooing Mike Conley about earlier in the year was that he wasn't playing minutes. But we've now seen, even when there's been a 10-day gap between days where he plays, 30 minutes again. So if they're gonna play Conley 30 minutes in a Western Conference matchup here, then I'm definitely interested. D'Angelo Russell is really good off the bench for the Lakers again, 4,400. If you want to go to him, you can. They moved Connect back into the starting lineup.
He was good.
He was, and I think that doesn't hurt D'Lo when there's less Dalton Connects on the floor with him, where he is like more of a primary scorer.
Agreed. I mentioned Milton earlier, but there's like a legitimate chance he's starting in this game. 28 and 21 minutes the last two.
Yep.
No new shooter, no Cam Thomas. Like, could very well see Shake Milton starting.
Yeah, I would say likely Shake, could be Keon Johnson, could just be Simmons. Like, I don't know, but like I am very thankful that this is 7:30, John. That this game is
we'll know. Yeah, 7:30 start.
I mean, that is the first game on the board. So like, what we don't know about Brooklyn, we will know by the time roster locks come around.
Agreed. All right, shooting guard. And the others we touched on, Jaylen Brown at 8K against Chicago feels like a pretty good spot for him if Boston needs to win and needs to win big here. Levine against Boston, the other side, maybe a little bit, but not my favorite spot at the price this week. Where would you go? I mean, it feels like it drops off pretty quickly here.
I would say just the top 5 names are tournament plays, especially Ivy at 7K. If Cade's back, I would just play. Those guys are all just viable in tournaments. I do think Levine is obviously interesting if Kobe White sits. I mean, I understand it's a tough spot, but we've said this time and time again, right? The guy, he is just a good scorer, and sometimes that trumps
sometimes
good
they just
defense.
hit shots, right?
Right, yeah. So I'd be good with Levine if there's no Kobe White. Matherin 63, drop his price. Nukes again, double, 20, 24 points. Like,
it's crazy.
Seems like every single time there's a down game, it's followed by like some massive ceiling. Probably won't get to Dort, especially with Monk cheaper. Probably won't get to Beasley, especially with Cade coming back. Io was really good the other day. He's really inconsistent, but if Chicago's shorthanded and Io plays, mid-30s minutes, that's obviously an option.
Zaire probably plays big minutes here.
Yeah, the only reason you only saw 25 in that game, he had just massive foul trouble.
Yeah.
Two right away, picked up a third, picked up a fourth. Like, he just couldn't stay on the floor. Was pretty good on a per minute basis. So if guys are out, but if more guys are out, then definitely Zaire.
Connect is probable. Duncan Robinson is probable. I messaged you. It's like, dude, they started Duncan Robinson again. Guy knocked down 6 threes in that game.
He did. All early,
if he's starting again, I don't mind. Like, he is always live to knock down those threes if he's going to play 30 minutes, because that's what his role is on that team. So, and he's been chipping in a little bit more with the peripheral stats as well, so not bad. But Connect is also there. He hit 4 threes. He played 31 minutes, 20 actual points in that game. His numbers in the starting lineup this year are really good, and I think that, again, this should have always been the case. They shouldn't have benched him there for Reddish and Hachimura, and they made that swap in that game against San Antonio, and hey, they won after losing to the Phoenix. So, I would expect to see him fully starting there. Anything else for you at shooting guard? What did Quentin Jackson end up doing in that game? Anything? 32
You know what we missed? We missed. Oh no, we didn't. If Toronto goes back to Jacoby Walter at $3,000. I didn't. He was so good, and there was like a lot of time on the floor where I was like, all right, let's go back to Walter. Let's go back. Can we get him back on the floor? He's been out for a while. Oh, we're putting Davion back in the game. Can we not put Davion back in the game? But at 3K, if he's starting again, he played in a blowout too. So he started and then played in a blowout. So like, you're kind of.
They announced him as a starter, and I pivoted. Got one of my lineups to pivot, but nobody pivoted with me.
1%. I was with 1%. You. Me and you. 1%.
Yeah, we rode the Jacoby Walter 3K train to a 10 plus X. Quick math here, can't do it in my head. 13X return on that. So
little 40 bomb.
Yeah, 40 bomb at 3K. So is he gonna go 40 bomb at 3K again? Probably not. But you know what? Shout out to that performance. Gets Miami here. We don't have Utah on the slate, do we?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Utah had that guy grab like 18 rebounds out of nowhere.
Micah Potter.
Michael Potter, yeah.
Yeah, Micah Potter. It was great.
Sorry to our guy. I think it was S. Penny in our Discord asked me Svi or Michael Potter, and I was like, I at least know Svi's an NBA player. Like, I don't know what this Potter dude.
I played Potter on the late slate.
Yeah, just wild.
It was fun.
All right, small forward. Again, Tatum 10K. If you want to get to him, this is probably a great spot to do so. I know Porzingis is back, and we do have that conversation a lot. Just the impact that Porzingis has. Tatum had 40 in 30 minutes, so always live, but can't discount what Porzingis can bring to the table. Played 26 minutes out of the shoot. I think Porzingis had
played a lot of minutes.
They did not. Where is he? 7,500. Played 23 minutes. That's a good price tag for stats. So we'll get there. So you got Tatum, you got Wagner, 96, coming up a couple down games there. Barnett, Scotty Barnes, rather 85. Barrett,
you combined both. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Barnett's there, 85 and 83. Buckets has been very good still at 8K. How are you feeling about that grouping?
Yeah, outside the Charlotte game where he just kind of like left and then never came back, but he's fine, I guess.
Yep.
That was such a second night of a back-to-back in Charlotte. We talked about that too. Like Jimmy,
he didn't think he was going to play.
I know, we didn't think he was
going
to play.
Then he didn't really.
Then he didn't really play. Yeah, he didn't. They scored all those points and he didn't shoot. So, I'm good. I'm good with it. Okay. I'm obviously I think.
Do we play Wagner here at 96?
Yeah, I'm not. I think Tatum, Wagner, perfectly fine. Brooklyn's been obviously very competitive, but still, when you look at their defensive rating, they're 25th. So you can definitely get to.
I don't think anyone's gonna be on there because it's in 209 game total.
I don't think so either.
Nice to get some 4% Wagner on these on the slate here.
Agreed.
Scrolling all the way down, a lot of these guys we talked about. Denny should be in a good spot here again. A whole lot of minutes, whole lot of production. Good call out by you on that last slate, getting him in our lineups here. Price went down $200 here.
I didn't look to see if this was out, but they had a full day and didn't adjust it. I am assuming that
they just copied and pasted over.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's price, dude. Everyone's price is cheaper. No, there's not
right.
Yeah, I mean, I think Denny is super chalk.
Are we getting Black Friday discount prices on players?
Black Friday. That's a good one. That was a good one.
I'm just
no,
curious.
That was a good one. That was a good shout.
If you guys want to take a deal, Black Friday deal, we got the Black Friday Fantasy Alarm deal going on right now. FantasyAlarm.com/Black Friday.
You are good, John.
Promo code BF24. Take $100 off your annual All Pro subscription. That comes out to less than $16 a month for the entire year. And guess what? It expires next Black Friday, which means we likely have another deal that you can take advantage of. Again, our month-to-month cost is $39.97 a month. You're going to get it for less than $16 a month for the year. All sports, all products, all benefits. That means every sport that comes out, all draft guides, cheat sheets, tools, lineup generator, Discord, you name it. Whatever we put out on Fantasy Alarm, you get access to for the year for less than $16 a month. That's FantasyAlarm.com/Black Friday. Promo code BF24. Back to the small forward slate. Gotta take advantage of the opportunities when we get them here, James. Hachimura, Osor Thompson started. Only played 20 minutes, but started. Played 20 minutes in that game. Maybe he's on his way up here. Jalen Wilson, if he's in, would be pretty good.
Yep.
What else are we thinking at small forward here?
I felt the same way about Cam Johnson at 68. I know it's circling back a little bit, but if he was in, I would feel the same way. We just don't know about Brooklyn, obviously. Oh, we didn't talk about okay. He's here at small forward too, so we can talk about him. After Denny, I mean, Denny is so good at 53, right? So good.
Oh yeah.
I know you talked about him. Just
you did
rehashing. Quentin Jackson, 4K.
I mentioned him as shooting guard. You kind of just blew by him.
32 minutes.
Okay.
Sorry. No,
it's okay. It's the turns of table on us here.
turns
Usually
of
it's the other
table.
way around.
I chased around 2 kids for like
Yeah,
a
the
lot of
minutes are
hours.
good. He didn't really shoot that well, but he gave you all the peripheral stats. So he got you 26.
Yeah, he's really good defensively. I think that's what's going to keep him on the floor. So I'm definitely interested there. And then I mean, look, Tyrese Martin for whatever that game was in Phoenix, like earned himself playing time in this next game. Whatever, I mean, 10
Yeah,
for 13, 8 for 10 is pretty unsustainable for a guy who just like hasn't played in like much in professional basketball.
yeah.
But if like all these guys are out, like why is Tyrese Martin not the guy gonna get
Isn't
extended
this
again,
how
right?
Cam Thomas basically came about? Cam
Well,
Thomas all of a sudden was like DNP, and I get it, different like pedigree and things. But
first
Cam
round
Thomas
draft pick.
was DNPing, and then all of a sudden everybody was out of the lineup one night for the Nets, and he dropped 40, and we're like, "Who? What?
Yeah.
Where did this come from?" And then he did it like 3 days in a row. You're like, "What is going on here?" Again, different pedigree, of course. Tyrese Martin, second round pick in 2022, was kind of bouncing around some G League teams there for a little bit, but sometimes these guys are out there shooting, and if they get the opportunities to shoot, the basket gets bigger and they get in a rhythm. So
Sure.
I'm good with that one. Power forward. Yeah, we talked to a lot of these guys already. You got LeBron at under 10K at 99, Jalen Williams at 92, opposite of each other in that spot.
Yeah, I mean LeBron just couldn't make shots the other night and still got there because of the triple double. And he hasn't necessarily shot the ball all too well lately, but the peripheral stats have definitely been there. So um, if you think this is a spot that he could triple double, I think that's the way. That's like the best path right now to getting us to a ceiling. Because obviously the scoring has been a little eh. But you cannot always get to LeBron perfectly. I mean, dude, Jalen Williams had 37 fantasy points in 16 minutes before he left that game.
Yeah.
I mean,
Coach in
he
the eye and
is,
GG's.
dude, he is absolutely absurd. He only took 6 shots. Like he is just so good. And you look at this stuff, 9,200 is not too expensive. So it's a great spot for OKC. Great
I
spot.
would not argue that one. Let's see. Randall, $7,900 versus the Clippers.
Eh,
Any interest here?
you know my thoughts on the Clippers.
I
It's
know.
just all like,
I know. Siakam 72 against Detroit. 20 shots.
Yes.
Hey, we dogged them, and look what happened.
It's a good one. I mean, if he's going to play 38 minutes, they're on their home floor. This is a cup game. Yeah, I mean, the Pacers are going to be a very popular team.
Keegan kind of sucks now. Played all the minutes in
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to that guy, but holy cow.
Toby questionable. I guess if he comes back, I'd have some interest in cash games. Anything else down here for you, power forward?
I would just like to point out Ochai Agbaji had the shooting game that I wanted from Scotty Barnes in that game.
Sure.
Not playing him, just also pointing out that I'm a little sour about that one. Jonathan Isaac, again, 22 minutes, 20 fantasy points, like clockwork. If you want to play him, that's like seemingly a pretty safe number that you're going to get from him. Trenton Watford, if there's no Nick Claxton, they haven't fully extended him yet, but I guess maybe that is the game that you can look at and be like, okay, maybe that we're going to get more minutes if Nick Claxton's out. 22 minutes, 13 shots. Really good fantasy player. So if there's no Claxton, I could definitely see myself getting to some Watford at 39.
Yeah. Do you just want to call out that there's a good likelihood now that Porzingis is back, we have Horford go back to the bench?
Yeah.
Now they could start Horford and bring Porzingis off the bench. Horford was not active for that last game. I don't think that's what they would do. I think they just go back and Al goes to the bench. So love you, mean it, pal. Great performances for the last couple of months here, but you will now be playing you on the every other day back-to-backs when Porzingis does not.
Yes.
So we got that for us here. Bazulis, 25 minutes at least. Fouled out. But he played it. Anything else? Obi played 15. All right.
No, let's go.
Center then. AD 10-4. AD really good the other day. Helped me get over the cash line 19, 14, and 7 in 35 minutes against San Antonio. Let's see. Sabonis. I know you wanted to talk about this guy. 27-12 in that game against Minnesota.
Dude, I mean, I didn't even look to see if he was on the slate, honestly. Jay Crowder is on the slate.
He is.
He signed Jay Crowder and started him right off the street.
Yeah.
They said, "Welcome to Sacramento. You're in the starting lineup." He said, "What? What do you mean I'm in the starting lineup?"
Like 27 minutes.
And he played a bunch of minutes. And you know what? Like, I get it. Why would you want to give Doug McDermott minutes? Why do you want to mess with this Kevin Huerter stuff anymore? I get it. But like, if that's what we're gonna do, then it's a literal with DeRozan out, it's a 3-man show, right? It's Fox, it's Sabonis, and
Jay Crowder is now Torian Prince of the
right,
game.
yeah, and Malik Monk. So I'm good with like any iteration of those players. If you want to play Sabonis Monk, if you want to play Monk Fox, if you can find a way to get Sabonis and Fox as well, they both went for 50. They all three of them went for 50. That is their recipe for success. So yeah, I mean, I think Sabonis per dollar is as good as anyone up here. Just given no, and another one, like he only played 34 minutes because of foul trouble.
Yeah,
but when he stayed out of foul trouble, he's played 40. So another one who has 40-minute upside.
Bam played 36 minutes in that game at 39 fantasy points. I think there's always going to be tournament appeal with Bam. There's going to be days where he goes off. He hasn't had many of them this year, but he has had some. Yeah, Vuk versus Boston. Very difficult for me to want to play any centers now that Porzingis is back. He immediately made a pretty decent impact in that game. I know Zubac, I think, was still fine against Boston.
Yeah, he was great.
23 and 10. Still fine, 11 and 14, but as we get more minutes.
Fine. It was in 29 minutes. He cooked.
But I'm saying as you get more minutes from Porzingis is only on there for 23 minutes.
Yeah.
It makes opposing centers, I think, for me at least, a little bit more difficult to want to roster. Would you play Zinger at 75?
I mean, we don't even know what the minutes would have been. Like, it could have been more, right? It could have been they just were up by 100. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I'm not against it. I think 7,500 is a good price. It's a really good matchup. He went 1 of 6 from 3. He's obviously, a prolific 3-point shooter as well. So, if you get 30 minutes out of Porzingis in a cup game, well, then you win all the money because he's going to probably go for 50. And I think like on a night-to-night basis, if he's sitting in this price range, he's the best Boston play when he's up like full capacity.
I think we talked about this exact thing a lot last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think
like at $7,500 when everybody in Boston is always live for like 50. There were games last year where Porzingis went out and had 35, 12, and 6 stocks, and you're like, it's $7,500, and he broke the slate.
Yeah, as great as Tatum and Brown are, and they're obviously going to have monster games all the time.
Yeah.
They're just not as good as Porzingis in those areas that fantasy points get like really elevate you into GPP winning. I'm not saying Tatum can't triple double or score 40 and I'm not saying Brown can't do the same thing, but they just don't block shots the way he does. They do not get steals the way he does. So
yeah, Porzingis had 6 games last year, but at least 5 blocks. So
I mean, that's a lot of block shots. And so yeah, I mean, if you think that there's any way he gets up to 30 minutes, because even but we talked about it, like Missoula never once was like, we're gonna like monitor or like limit his minutes. They were just like, nah, we're gonna watch him. And then they won by 50, so they didn't have to watch him anymore because they could watch the third strings. So yeah, I mean, is he like a priority for me at 75? No. Is he an option? Sure.
All right, these mid-tier guys now. Hartenstein's been really good. You got Zubac, Ayton, Turner, Gobert, Duran in the 6K range.
I mean, like, I understand Hartenstein's had some tough spots, and I understand this is another one. I don't know if it matters.
He's been good.
I don't know if it matters. Just like given their size, right? Like he is the only length they have, and you saw second game back started, played 30 minutes, has been in foul trouble in 2 of them. that hasn't really mattered. 38 fantasy points in all of them. So yeah, I mean, I'm just so fine playing Hartenstein because he can play through foul trouble and still dominate. And he's another guy who's just elite peripherally. Uh, if there's no Norm Powell, Zubats is just definitively like their second scorer on a night to night basis. He's also been great. They've been involved in a lot of blowouts, and I think that's a good thing long term for his minutes because he was playing so many minutes early in the year.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had to lately, and he's still 39, 40, 42 fantasy points. He hasn't played more than 30 minutes in any of the last 3 games. So, I'm definitely good. I know it's a tougher spot against, Gobert, but a lot of teams are scoring a lot of points against Rudy Gobert. And they're, the reigning defensive player of the year. Ayton played, we kinda talked about this. They were shorthanded. I think Rob Williams is actually questionable in
Yeah,
this game,
questionable the
so
concussion protocol, right?
he could be back, but 34 minutes right out of the gate, 2+ weeks out. I know it's just a finger, but dude, 6,600 is a really like Domantas Sabonis started his career as a
Yeah.
power forward. And I've said that a lot in this show, but he's not like traditional center against Ayton, who is more traditional center.
Yeah.
So Ayton has a really good advantage there. Miles Turner, you kind of had actually brought him up lastly, like I kind of like him in this spot, and he
Yeah.
didn't shoot well, but
5 blocks.
5 blocks, and another guy who can just fill it up with the blocks. So I think that this tier of centers is incredibly interesting, even after like how much I talked up Sabonis and how much you liked AD. It's a great spot.
Sure. What a Carter into playing there. 18 minutes in that game. A little tough to get there.
Yeah, they told us too. I'm
Yeah.
assuming we'll know ahead of time as like once again, like, hey, he's gonna play this many minutes.
Stewart went 0 for 6 shooting against Memphis.
It's not good.
Not good. Not
They
good.
got blitzed in that
Yeah.
game.
Mm-hmm. That's probably it then, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else down here. Naz Reid had a big game 2 games ago. Then he was back to being like super subpar. That's kind of been, I feel like the Naz Reid experience this year. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else down here.
All right. Let's build a lineup.
Oh, Rob Will is doubtful. So we're gonna get. Yeah, we're gonna get full run from me.
Okay. Is that your center, or do you like spending up for Sabonis? Where do we think we want to go here? Are we worried about blowout here, Sacramento, Portland?
Not in a cup. Like, also Sacramento, dude, it's a 4-point spread. Sacramento really has not been like good, right? They lost to Brooklyn outright at home.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right. I feel like there's more talent, but maybe I guess Vegas obviously doesn't see it that way. So, all right.
But we've seen it though. Like,
you mentioned
they are
Fox,
very talented.
Top end guy here.
Agreed. Monk, just run
Monk.
2 of them.
And
Denny, just run a little 3-man of this game. I mean, there's also, we talked like a multitude of 3K plays. I think
you got Martin here, and who is the other one?
Jacoby Walter.
Yeah, we don't know obviously if Walter's gonna start, but he probably could.
My assumption is he'd start after that last game. Grady Dick's already ruled out.
Sure.
So with Grady Dick out, I'd assume
Walter guard and Martin at forward.
Holy cow, dude! We're gonna
8K a play. Can we get AD here? AD 68. Power forward.
Easy. I mean, that is like Siakam. That's
I just chug Tatum in just to see what we'd have. 3,700. Nothing really there. Barnes maybe.
Yeah, I'd be okay with Scotty.
He's a small forward. Denny can play power forward, right? And then Denny.
No, Denny's only small forward.
Only small forward. That's kind of a kicker. All right, Denny's small forward. I thought he was a power forward last night. Maybe not.
They started him in real life at power forward, but I don't think he's had the power forward.
I go Jalen then. 92.
Are you against Siakam?
No. 65 at util. Do you want AD to be the spend up, or do you have a different? I mean, I already have Fox. Is there another util that you like? We do a different center. I mean, we talked.
I mean, that mid tier is elite. Hartenstein, Ayton,
10-3 gets us.
AD.
I mean, gets us Tatum if we wanted it, or we could try. I don't know if we could go much lower than Ayton, but
yeah, I think we don't want to go any lower anyway.
Go LeBron or Sabonis. Just straight up play the game.
I mean, that game is solid. 223.5, 4-point spread. Not obviously the best on the board. If you want to go Tatum though, like it's
a 240 total.
240
right?
total. Just switch Denny and Tatum.
Yeah, like you said, there's just so many other options to score for the Celtics. Is my problem. Now that Porzingis is back,
It's true.
I like the Sabonis play here. Okay. Let's stack Sacramento Portland. That gives us a little late night hammer game stack at 10 p.m.
I mean, they have legitimately 3 guys that are doing everything for them. So.
Yeah. Yep, I'm good. All right, Fox, Monk, Avdia, Siakam, Ayton, Walter, Martin, Sabonis currently as situated here. We'll see if the 3K plays start or not, and then we can make some pivots if we have to. We'll also be back live at 5 p.m. Eastern time to get you all ready for the slate. We appreciate everybody who's tuned in. Hit that like, that subscribe, that share. And then once again, we got our Black Friday special going on, fantasyalarm.com/Black Friday. Promo code BF24 at checkout. Save $100 off your annual subscription package there. Get that for less than $16 a month. Grande and I will be back later, everybody. Till then, we'll see you later.